Hey folks, welcome to SonicLAB. We're looking at a bit of a patch flip here because Cherry Audio have just brought out Atomica, which is a software emulation of the legendary, some may say, Polivoks synthesizer, which is a really unique and unusual instrument. It was kind of made in the former Soviet Union in a kind of vacuum, I suppose, because there's a lot of things that were made. They didn't have access to sort of the latest synthesizer designs or techniques or components. So synthesizers and instruments were made in a kind of unique style, and this is very much one of them. The original was built from around 1982 to 1990, and if you ever come across one in person, you'll be struck at how kind of simultaneously sort of solidly built it is, and at the same time really flimsy. Like the switches or the rotary switches and the pots feel really chunky, whereas the sort of plastic keyboard and the little white switches that you can see here feel like they're made out of some sort of artificial plastic, like rice starch or something. It's really peculiar. It's sort of, and at the same time, we've got this massively kind of robust and aggressive sound. Made by Vladimir Kuzmin and his wife, Olympiada. It was, the filter is the thing that really kind of gave it the character, because it's a very unusual filter. It was made using programmable op amps, not initially intended for audio filter circuits, which gave it a very distinctive filter sound quality. So here it is. Obviously, it's been updated. DSP work by a guy called Mark Barton, who's worked on other stuff for Cherry Audio, and it's a really unique sounding thing. So let's take a listen to that filter, because that is essentially the character of the sound. Before I go there, I should just say, really, we just got a pair of oscillators with triangle, sawtooth, square, and two other skinny versions of square. So quite basic in a way, but the filter is what adds the character. So I'll just do a quick sweep. You can hear it's kind of it's got a bit of fizz to it, but when we start bringing that resonance in, particularly at higher values, it starts to get really unpredictable and quite unstable sounding. Then when we add these two new parameters, which are starve and filter dry, I'm not quite sure what starve does, but I like it. It makes it even more unpredictable. And then filter dry. Then we've got different modes. Peak is really... Anyway, I'll leave that there. As you can hear, I mean, the filter is the kind of heart of what's going on here. It's an astonishing sound. So what I've done, I've got a new keyboard here, which is actually really handy because I've been using the old M-Audio Axiom 61, which is, God, probably 15, 20 years, because it had program changes. But with this, the Novation launch key, Mark IV, I think it is, not only can I add sort of program controls and set up the controllers, but I can do key commands. So these are basically programmed, so they're Apple left and right arrow, which means I can flip presets, which is just a godsend, because that's really hard to do. Normally I have to sort of reach over to my mouse, and it's just a nightmare. So this is much better. Thank you very much for that extra feature. In fact, while I'm at it, I show you the MIDI mapping on this is really good. We can MIDI learn across global values, but also per preset. So we can have quite granular kind of setup effect. So let's flip through a few presets. I'm going to check, because it comes with a whole bunch. So we'll just go to favorites to begin with. I favorited a few here. Let's start there. So I think that was my basic. I did a variation of this. Looping envelopes. Actually, I think the original had looping envelopes, which is quite an unusual thing back then. So I think it might have been one of the first that I could think of that kind of was thinking of envelopes as not only envelopes, but also as function generators, which is where we're getting to. In fact, if I show you the filter, we can get it down to 3 minutes. It goes pretty fast. Anyway. Next, baseline ARP. Let's check this one out. Really handy that we've got the... It's got a nice low end to it, I have to confess. Let's see what this one... Dirty cymbal. Just quite unusual. There's a really good oscillator FM control here, which I'll show you on a few more patches. It's really interesting. So next one, Disco TB. Not quite TB, but it's got something about it, hasn't it? Let's try take the ARP off. Here's some more pad type sounds. I'm going to bring in a little bit of that. I think I've got, I added the FM to one of these. Can't remember which one it was. Well, I'll map it. I'll show you. It's very easy to map. So MIDI, let's just go oscillator FM, MIDI learn. Oh, MIDI is 75, so I probably just need 74. Is this one? Yeah, I'll do that. So just take that back out of there. Again, that's on a key command. Or I think, no, it's actually a program mode. Really handy, so I can just do everything from the front panel. Just adding a touch of OS FM is really... Love that. Okay. Gene pools. This is another... in 16 voice mode. Mod wheel map to the LFO speed. It's got a really nice... This is just some triangles. More pads. I'm going to put a bit more of that OS FM in there. Just a little touch of it really adds a nice... I like that. Oh, Requiem, let's try this. I seem to have saved a lot of pads in here. That's adding a bit of filter drive on this one. Yeah, I like that. This one's called Reverse Echo. Good use of the effects there. Quite sure what's going on there, but it's massive sounding. Sounds like sort of old school. It's quite nice for sort of some of those slightly... It sounds like old school strings. I mean, considering there's actually not all that much... Oh, this is in duophonic mode because this actually was originally just a duophonic synth. I'm just going to put a touch of that oscillator FM in, like a really tiny... Yeah, perhaps a bit much there. What's this? Silver Swept Hair. It's got quite an unusual sound. I mean, I know these are not sort of classic Polivoks sounds, but I kind of found them quite enchanting. That's interesting. So it's a square wave. Yeah, I've moved that interval up a bit. Let's maybe mess around with some of that. I'm going to put a bit of reverb on there. Let's try a big one. You know me. I'm just going to flip to the, because I've got the second layer of controls mapped to some of the. Let's just go back to the. Let's try. Just an 8 voice, anyway. Yeah, this is more familiar kind of Polyvoks territory from what I understand. That is absolutely massive. Yeah, nice. Another pad sound. This feels like, I mean, a lot of the patch names in here are sort of quite cheesy word plays on Soviet stuff. And you can't help but think of Soviet sort of space imagery. You know, that perhaps one of the early space travelers looking out the window for the first time, chatting to Strelka the dog, feeding him a dog biscuit, looking at the stars going by. Well, perhaps not. Maybe I'm over-egging that a little bit. It sounds like that's bringing in a bit of chorus there. That's nice. What happens if I bring a bit of OS FM in there? Yeah, I like that. Soviet string synth, yeah. Guess this has got a bit of phaser on it. Again, just sort of slightly sort of wonky take on what would be a classic sound, which I really quite like. Nice work on the programming on this. Starving strings, another string. And this is, I guess, using... so if we starve on the filter. I'm guessing starve could be maybe just reducing the level of the signal into the filter, but maintaining the output, so you just get an interesting... I like that. There's another one of the same name. Sort of disintegrates, doesn't it, almost? Some of these kicks are really nice as well. I'm just going to add a bit more drive to this. Really worth sampling that, isn't it? Some nice, real proper analog drum sound. What happens if we... Quite nice. Oh, nice control law on these, because they've sort of paid attention to the way that these knobs affect almost a bass line now, isn't it? Oh, it's all filter resonance, isn't it? So what happens if I bring a bit of noise in there? Almost sounds like something contemporary, doesn't it? God forbid. Right. That's got some heavy flanging going on. Again, reminiscent of some sort of antiquated Soviet-era space station with an alarm going off. Better get out of there quick. Nice. And then I'm back to the beginning. So if we just go to some more of these, let's have a look at, see what other sounds we've got in here. Let's go for some basses, yeah, because I mean, this is a bit bass monster. So I'll just... Let's see where I am in the... Nice velocity sort of response. God, that's massive. Yeah, this is more like the sort of territory I would expect. Jan Hammer era 80s soundtrack, Pulse. I like the fact, I wonder if there's something going on there, volume, velocity, is there velocity? I like the response to the velocity, it's only on the sort of top of the range. Could imagine a sort of Muse-like triplet fill bass line, or maybe Goldfrapp even. There's no sync in that. In fact, the original wasn't played on one of these. It was, I think, that was played on a Korg. Oh gosh, the 700, the 700, if I remember correctly. That's just doing the drive, but in fact, look, there's hardly any amp drive on this, and not much filter drive in it, so I don't know where that's coming from. Let's really drive it up. Maybe take the release down. That's got... God, that's massive, isn't it? What happens if we starve that filter a bit? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. I mean, you don't find that sort of thing easily, I would say. But yeah, good thunder there. Right, let's try exploring another little bit. I think it's worth saying that, I mean, bear in mind, this thing is $49, which when you consider... You could pay that for a bank of patches. Yet with this, you're getting, I don't know how many it is. It's a lot of patches. Let's wow, I don't know where to go next. Let's try Plucks. Haven't tried that yet. All collections, because it comes with a few collections. You can buy extra ones as well. I think this has got Atomica presets, Chain Reactions, Inhalt, Snakes of Russia. Yeah, there's a few there. Like that. Sort of basic. Maybe let's try explore a bit more. Let's try some leads. Annoying forum guy lead. I'll bet there's a story there. I wonder who that was. These are my basic ones. Sort of Reese, isn't it, almost? Oh, big Reese. I want more resonance. Yeah, nice. Funky worm. Unusual. It's a lead, but it's got a nice... Interesting. Oh my, listen to that come up. Anyway, as I said, I'm really impressed with this. I've not really explored much of the Cherry Audio range before, and this one just feels like it's really captured. I've seen a couple of comparisons with the hardware, and people are saying they've done a really good job of catching that hardware. Like I say, I don't have one here to compare it with, but from memory, it's this sort of angry and unpredictable quality that's probably quite hard to model. So good job. And as I say, $49. You could pay that for a bank of patches, and I don't know how many patches you get with this, but you get a lot, so it's almost worth that just for the inspiration. And again, done a nice job on the way that they've done the MIDI mapping, so you can set things for global or preset. Really handy. Available in all usual formats, VST, AU. I'm running this in standalone. I'm not noticing any particular difficulty with CPU loads. You can have a QWERTY keyboard, so that means I could play it from the keyboard. I did also mention there's oversampling quality. I was listening to this in full highest quality, so it's going to be maximum load, but you can see if there's much of a difference. Let's go back to 1. I'm not really hearing much qualitative difference, but I'm sure there must be, otherwise they wouldn't have put it in there. But needless to say, you could dial it back to save your CPU cycles. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. A taste of the Atomica from Cherry Audio.